Good evening. My name is Adam Sudlock, and I'm here to present the update that I have on my current project for Geography 440. So what we're going to start off with here is a sample story map that I have made, and I will progress into showing my remainder of my ArcGIS background and dissolve features, all the features that I've used to get to this point, but super proud of it. And just to give everybody a refresher on my project, I am going to be looking at gentrification since 9/11/2001 in New York City and contrasting it with crime trends and real estate. So taking a look at real estate and crime and comparing and contrasting where rates were in 2001 up through the decades 2011 to 2021 and then finally on to 2026. So currently the most current recent data points that we have are from 2025, hence why it says 2025 violent crime analysis. And so let's dig into this. First, I'm going to go into ArcGIS Pro. So what we see here is a rough map of New York City. I don't want Lenovo Advantage. So here's a map of New York City, and what we can see here is a couple of joins have been done. I have categorical joins, so as we see, um, we are matched by colors. Darkest colors have the highest incident of violent crime incidents, which are shootings and robberies. So I'm going to use shootings and robberies as my token violent crimes for examples for my project, and as so, I've joined these two features from 2020 to 2025. This is the first half decade of data that I was able to extrapolate and pull into ArcGIS Pro. So we can turn these on. We see shootings and we can segregate them by year. I was toying around a little bit. These are the locations of shootings in New York City in 2025. We don't really need all of this here because it was just one year. It's just a layer that I was playing with. But as we can see here, we've got the last basically 5 years of violent crimes here represented. That is shootings and robberies. As we turn this off, darker areas are areas of higher incidence of robberies. And we can turn robberies off now. And these are where our highest shooting incidents are. When you click on this layer right here, it will pop up and shows up with the total amount of violent crime. So 51 incidences there, 3 incidences there. Let's go into a zero census block. So two, where has zero? Where do we think has zero instances? This obviously can use some refinement, but yeah, total violent crime, and this is just shooting data. So let's go back to robberies per tract. When we go to robberies per tract, go up here, top of Manhattan, 17 robberies. So if that shows up beautifully, I plan on integrating this with the rest of my project and with my story map. As you can see right there, only one robbery in that census tract. And up here along the Henry Hudson Parkway, two, and so on and so forth. So let's turn both of our layers back on. Let's click on this, and but again, I have to layer it quite a bit. But let's go back into our story map. This is where the action takes place. So I have background here. This is more current. I plan on adding more layers and more story points to this with a greater history dating back to 2001, specifically 9/11, which was my example because I feel like it started a new transitional phase in New York City. After getting past the crack epidemic in the 80s and 90s, the city went bankrupt at one point. That was back in the 70s. I feel like close to the beginning of the 21st century. And it was obviously a huge, huge catastrophe that occurred within the confines of New York City that impacted the city greatly. So I figured that it was a very, very good point to use to kind of dissect change since that point and figure out what's happened. So we go down here, we see the similar map to what we had in our previous example on ArcGIS Pro. There's robbery instances, there's shooting instances, and again, this has all been my back-end ArcGIS Pro work. And this is some current context. This is from former Mayor Eric Adams. I'll add Zoran Mamdani in there. He's the current mayor of New York City. And we compare and contrast layers with the slider. We have shootings on the left, robberies on the right. It's beautiful. So I will continue to add credits, but this is my status report. This is my update. I'm very Proud of my progress thus far and looking forward to displaying it for the class and continuing further and adding my resources and expertise.